All right. There we go. All right, before we get started, I'll show you guys this real quick. What are you doing? What's going on? Who's that with you? Hey, somebody chewing. There's Caesar. Caesar's like, what's up? Pandora. Hi, baby. All right. And of course, Max on the bed. If Max is in the house, he's generally on the bed. So that's just how that goes. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Happy Friday. The week is now done. We are officially on the weekend. Not that it makes any difference, just another day. When you were 20, 22, 23, that made a difference. You get older, you don't care. It's like, yeah, okay. Okay, it's Friday, big deal. So, anyway, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you all had a good week. So, hey, Teresa, welcome. All right. So, anyway, before we get started, I just want to remind everybody that we do a very family friendly oriented channel here. I would ask everybody to please be decent in the chat, be nice to one another, no racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people that you see with the blue wrenches, they will boot you out of here because we're just not going to have it. It's not necessary. So, there we go. So let's just be kind and have a good chat. If you have any questions, all cap locks, please, so they stand out for me more. I obviously probably will not. Frederick, I already did. I'll do one more time, Frederick, just for you. There's Max. All right. Um, but you know, if I may not get to your comment, it's nothing personal. It's just once you get a larger crowd in, it makes it a little bit more difficult to stay on point and also, you know, try to answer everybody's question. So, all right. So we're going to be talking about what is your game plan for SHTF, and there's two motivations for this. Want people to think, and also, as anybody that's watched this channel knows, I am putting together a bug out group in West Virginia. So I will talk about that really quickly, and then we will go into contingency plans for other people, what you should be doing, what you should be thinking about doing. I did talk a little bit about it in my earlier stream today, but I figured we could really get into more detail in this time now. Jennifer said, Ed, can we still email you regarding the West Virginia meetup? Yes. If you are interested in coming to the on 8th, 9th, and 10th of April, if you are interested in being part of my bug out group, shoot me an email. Give me your phone number. That's important. If I've already talked to you in the past, and because there's several people that I spoke with before, if you are, we had talked and I said, okay, when we get closer, I'll, give me a call again. Shoot me an email or give me a call again if I've already spoken with you and you've had plans on coming. We're going to try to put together a group in West Virginia. So hopefully it will work out well. And so we'll see what happens. How many 5-gallon buckets to hold 50 pounds of wheat berries in Mylar bags? Hard to say. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. Depends on how full you make them, all those type of things. That I'm not. I have no idea. I'm not sure how much a 5-gallon bucket's going to hold. So anyway, I'm sorry I don't have the immediate answer for that. I've used Mylar buckets. I've vacuum sealed stuff as well. And all those type of things. So I've tried different methods. Now Mylar bags are great. They're awesome to use. But wheat berries, you really don't need to Mylar bag them, to be honest with you. They have a 30-year shelf life. So, one 5-gallon bucket will hold 25 pounds of rice. Well, there you go. So two. All right, so now you have the answer. Because wheat berries are actually smaller than rice. So, all right. So, anyway, if you are interested, shoot me an email. Give me your phone number. We will talk specifics of what's going to be involved and all those type of things as well. So, not bugging out, staying where I am. Shoot first, ask questions later. If it's my time to go, it's my time to go. You know what, Deborah, I understand it, and a lot of people have that mindset, which is fine, and I get it. But what happens with that type of a situation? So we're gonna let's talk about that. You're bugging in. You don't plan on going anywhere. Now, maybe physically you're not able to go anywhere, and that's totally understandable as well. I get that. So you're planning on bugging in and hanging on as long as you possibly can. Hopefully, you have. I just put up 88 pounds of wheat berries, 3 full buckets. Okay, so there you go. Janet Humphreys just put that out there for everybody. So, but what you have to try to think about is if you have some people in your neighborhood that you could feel like you could work with, I would encourage you to talk with them, make plans, because bugging out or bugging in, whatever, there is no ultimate right answer. There is no ultimate wrong answer. But if you look statistically, let's look statistically. So I'm not saying if you decide to bug in, you're wrong. If I'm saying you're going to bug out, you're wrong. Statistically, if you bug in and you're on your own and it's just a couple of folks, eventually you will get picked off. That is a reality, because eventually, no matter how prepared you are and what you've done and all the things that you've taken care of, you have to think about there will be groups of people down the road, uh, going house to house to figure out what's there, what they can salvage, what they can take. And if there's people there, they're not going to care. So eventually they're coming. I mean, that's the reality. If you are bugging out and you have a bug out location to go to, you have a larger group of people that are working together. Again, there is safety in numbers. And that's kind of one of the things that I wanted to drive home with this, talking about this tonight, was if you can get yourself together with a group, of like-minded people that you realize that you can work together with, even if it's neighbors, and even if you do all the prepping. I mean, let's be realistic. A lot of the cases, a lot of people don't do a whole lot of the prepping. But if you know that there's like a decent family that you like, and you say to them, listen, if something goes down, you guys come here. If you work with me, we'll work together. Those type of things. Your call strictly. You can do whatever you want to do. I know the amount of time and money that I put into my preps, and so I'm absolutely going to be selective of who I help and who I don't help. That's just kind of where I'm at. Like I said, little kids, and when I say little kids, I'm talking, 8 and under. They're not going to have an option. They're not going to have a choice. Maybe their parents are already gone. We would probably just grab them and help those kids, because uh, down the road, they're going to return that favor. They're going to help you up, because none of us are getting any younger, and you need those younger people to take care of things when you get to the point where you can't. And they're going to remember. They may not remember it completely, but they're going to remember who helped them. And so that's what you need to think about. So having plans and planning. Like I said, if you're planning on bugging in, I would highly recommend still having caches of things not close by, where if you had to go walk for an hour or whatever the case may be to get to that location, to be able to get supplies. Because if somebody comes in and if they don't kill you, or if you have to run, right? If you have to run, okay, all I got to do is I get to this location and I have supplies on site. That's a good feeling. That's a really good feeling. False walls are always good. But if you're going to get burned out, if somebody comes in and like you're putting up a good fight, and so they decide, well, we're not going to even worry about it, and we're just going to burn them out. That can happen as well. Now, then they lose everything that they were trying to gain out of your place, but sometimes people don't care. So there's a lot of things, a lot of factors that are going to go into it. So those are things you need to pay attention to, be ready for. Again, having plans upon plans upon plans, saying, yes, I'm bugging in and that's it, and then stockpiling stuff in your house and not having any kind of contingency plan is just not a smart thing to do. Uh, so that's kind of one of the things I wanted to really drive home tonight too. You better have plans for your plans, because if you have, and even with bugging in, you should have a bug out bag. I think that's important as well. You absolutely should have a bug out bag, that if you see them coming and there is, a mob of 200 people, I don't care how prepared you are. If there's two or three of you, you're not stopping 200 people. You're going to get some of them, but they're going to get you. And especially if they know that you have stuff. And there's going to be people that are going to say, yeah, that house there, they have stuff. So, those are things you need to think about as well. Being as stealthy as you possibly can be is great, but unless you look like you're starving, like everybody else is starving, if you're still all fat and happy and everybody else is starving, they're going to know you got food. So, those are things obviously to think about too. You want to appear to be like you're suffering just like everybody else is suffering. So those are some things to think about as well. you know. So just a few things to think about. You know, proper planning is key. You can still do caches, then that okay. I'm going to give an example of what I would have in a cache. Not saying I have caches, not saying I don't have caches, but if I had a cache, what I would have in that cache would be extra clothing, cooking supplies, definitely some form of food. Might not necessarily be canned goods because I don't know how well canned goods are going to hold up underground for a long period of time. But there would be either freeze dried foods or those type of things, maybe oatmeal, vacuum sealed or those type of things. Uh, Obviously, you should have spare magazines, ammo, that type of stuff. If you want to put a weapon underground, you can do that too. If you properly get it prepared to be there, then you could have it there. A tarp, you know, an extra pair of boots, socks, all those type of things. Anything that you can think of. The way that I would put together my caches, guys. Okay, and just to give you an idea, the way that I would put together my caches, I would think, okay, if I came up on my cache and I was completely naked. Now, hopefully, you're not going to be completely naked, but if you go and you plan to put your cache in place with the idea that you were completely naked, and you dug that up and you have everything that you need. So, boots, pants, long johns, plenty of socks, foot powder, you know, uh, toothpaste, being able to brush your teeth, an extra thing like that. Um, you know, would you place seeds in your cache too? Absolutely. Good question, Teresa Atkinson. Yeah, absolutely. You could put seeds in there that you could germinate them and they would be good to go. Those are things to think about. But if you go with that mindset, so you would want to have like a poncho. If you could have a small tent that you could put in there, a tarp, and then have something obviously in there to carry everything in. Because if you have all this stuff and nothing to carry it in, where are you going? So those are things you need to think about, and so that just kind of gives you an idea. So, and again, you just don't put one, well, if I leave out of here, I'm going north, or if I leave out of here, I'm going south. You might not be able to go south. You may not be able to go north. So, my advice, if you're going to have caches, have them in every direction, east, west, north, and south, because that way, whatever direction you have to flee in, you're headed towards one of your caches. Medications, it would depend. A lot of stuff has a shelf life, obviously, but you could do that for sure. What I would have actually in a cache would be fish mocks. That would be something that I would definitely plan on having put in a cache. So, you know, our grid is only 100 years old. Internet is 40. People lived and traveled for 2,000 years. Go back to the old ways. Exactly. Exactly. So, but unfortunately, you got to think about prepping plumber. In that last 100 years, we've gotten soft. We have gotten soft. We have gotten very complacent, very used to having that power grid. People are not used to not being without power. They're not used to roughing it, if you will. So those are things to think about as well. So again, If you have ailments and like I'll tell you right now, one of the things I would definitely pack up in a cache would be Advil. Some of you may like Tylenol better. That's fine. Advil works better for me. So for me, that would be my preference to have. You're going to be sore. You're going to be tired. You're going to, not used to using muscles that you're not used to using. And especially if you're trying to walk a distance. And then where are you going to go? So let's think about that. If you have to bug out, and this is why I think networking is kind of important, getting together and talking with other people and saying, hey, listen, yeah, aspirin, absolutely. Um, if you get together with other people and you say, okay, listen, something goes down and you got to bug out of your location, they may have their own bug out location. You can come to us and we're going to help you out, or vice versa. So I have, forged a lot of those relationships through the years where I have told people, hey, let's work together. Let's plan on, if something happens, we're going to plan on, either trading with each other, because those are, if you forge that relationship and you know that Prepper John, who lives, 15 miles away, that him and his family are prepping as well, and you're prepping, and you have that relationship, when everything goes to crap, you can go to John, and John's going to know who you are, and he's not going to shoot you on sight, and you can definitely barter with somebody like that. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care how prepared you are. I don't care if you've thought of every contingency. You're going to forget something. And then when the time comes, you're going to be like, crap, I can't believe I forgot that. Or whatever the case, whatever it is. We're all going to forget things. It's reality. So, with having people that you can barter with, maybe they have it, you don't, maybe you have something that they didn't think about. All those things are going to be part of it, is not so. But yeah, anti-diarrheals, yep. All those, having Imodium, whatever, like, any of those type of things. It's definitely good meds to have. But again, you have to think about weight. So if you're digging up your cache, how much is that stuff going to weigh? So you have to take that into consideration. So you're going to have to prioritize what you're going to have in that bug out cache. So what? What is your problem? Well, come here. Oh, hell is in the way? No, Caesar's in the way. Pandora wanted, I know. Pandora wanted to come over and Caesar wouldn't let her through. That's too funny. Okay, so sorry. All right, guys, we got 587 in the chat. We're 200 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time. I really do appreciate that. It definitely makes all the difference in the world too. It pushes us up higher in the algorithms, so I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. So yes, good point. A lot of bug spray. Yeah, having some kind of bug spray, or the nets that you can put over your head, over your hat, that's a good thing too, because depending on what time of year it is, you're going to be dealing with that as well. So it's not going to always guarantee that it's going to be perfect weather when you have to bug out and do whatever you got to do. So, but yeah, it's just, plan ahead. Everybody's situation is different. I mean, everybody's situation is different. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, with ticks, I would recommend having a tick key. Make sure you have a tick key. And if you don't know what that is, I will show you really quickly. This is a tick key. If you get a tick on you, or you tick on your animals, you put this here, you slide it in, and it pulls the entire tick out, head and all, and you'll get that tick out of you. This is something that I keep obviously right on my keychain, so it's important to me. Um, I have had to use it a couple times on animals. I did use it once on Heather as well. Heather had a tick a couple of years ago. We really didn't have problems with ticks up here until the last couple of years, and it's so weird how they got really bad. But then when we got like the collars on all the animals, then we didn't have any more issues with that. But and that's something else you got to plan for. Think about that. Your animals. What are you going to do with them? How are you going to Are you taking them with you? Can you take them with you? So those are things. Again, you know, do you have enough food to keep your animals going for a long time? Those are all things that are you need to consider. So I try to make sure that I have plenty of food and supplies for the animals as well. And and depending on how bad the situation is, we would deal with everything. You know, we would deal with everything as we went along. So the ticks are really bad in Long Island. Bonnie says, yeah, it was like I said, probably the first 5 years we were up here, really didn't have a lot of issues with ticks. Where did you get the tick key? Okay, with the tick key, if you go, guys, if you go online, um, let's see, I don't even think it has on. Yeah, it doesn't have an address where you can get them at tick keys. You can get them two places. Go to your veterinarians. Veterinarians at their vet office, they will have a tick key. You can buy it that way. It's going to be more expensive there. You can go online and you can get a tick key online. It's going to be cheaper to do it online. So JJ says they have them at Tractor Supply. Okay, there you go. There's another spot. But the great thing to have, I definitely encourage people to get that. That's another really just a minor thing that you don't think about, but it really can be very important, especially if you get ticks. They're not fun. So, uh, but anyway, again, so talking about bugging in or bugging out, if you're bugging in, like I said, again, you can put in a false wall and have extra supplies behind that false wall that people can't tell it's a wall. It's a good way to do it. You put a whole bunch of 5 gallon buckets behind a false wall. You know, having different hiding spots, obviously, in your house as well. And, those things are really important as well. But again, if you can get together with a group, it is going to be your best chances of survival long term. Safety in numbers, number one. If you have a bunch of like minded people that have been working together, planning together, hopefully your bug out location is going to be good to go where you get down there and you're going to be in good shape. And that's part of the key of it as well. Uh, Having supplies on site. So this is one of the things that I talked about with the people that want to be part of my bug out group. They have to keep a certain amount of supplies on site, and the reason for that is if there was, we never know what it's going to be, what's going to happen. So none of us know. It's not like, well, we know it's going to be this or we know it's going to be that. There's always speculation. It could be this, it could be that, but we don't know. But if you have supplies on site, and let's say you can't drive a car, or you start driving your car and you get jammed in traffic and there's no way to get around that, and you have to abandon that car, you're going to have on you what you have on you and what you can carry. So if you have a certain amount of supplies on site at the bug out location, you get there, you have, let's say, a 3 month supply of food or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? So that's I get there, I have shelter, I have supplies, I have extra food, clothing, whatever the case may be. Those are things to think about. So just putting that out there so you guys can kind of get an idea for that as well. Let's see. Finding people is called either being active in the community or just straight up talking to randoms and building connections. Just be safe about it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, so Jasper Moon makes a good point. A great way that you could have that conversation with somebody, you could start a conversation. You don't have to say, hey, I'm a prepper and I prep and I'm looking for like-minded people who wants to be. You don't have to do it that way. um, hey, Hawkeyes, I think people should buy more prep now before prices take off like a rocket. One container ship consumes 60,000 gallons of diesel a day and 25 million gallons of fuel capacity. Do the math, folks. Yeah, no, that's yeah. Thank you very much for the statement, and thank you very much for the donation as well. I do appreciate that. Thank you. But so where was I just at here? I just completely blanked out. I was going to make a point about something. Somebody remind me, please. Where was I? It's at old age. Uh, Oh, me. Okay, meeting like mine. Thank you. I mean, it was completely gone. So anyway, if you want to have that conversation, the best way I would suggest for people to have that conversation is if you want to talk to randoms, meaning random people, and say, "Hey, listen, what do you think about prepping?" And then you're going to know within sight of a couple of minutes if this is somebody you want to have a conversation with or not have a conversation with. You could even have it that way with your neighbors. Let's say you have an okay relationship with your neighbors. They don't know you prep. Let's say they don't know. They might not. But if you have that conversation, you know, how, or you could say is, can I ask you a question? And if they say, sure, how ready are you for any kind of natural disaster or emergency that happens? Do you have enough supplies on hand? Are you ready for that? And that's how you can start those conversations without revealing what you're doing. And then if they say, well, yeah, we prep up a little bit or whatever the case may be, then you can take the conversation from there. And that's a good way to do it without exposing yourself as a prepper, you know, and those type of things. When I first got into prepping, we had in my basement, half the basement was my ex-wife's hair salon, and the other half was my prepping area. So I mean, I had all. If you go back and watch the old videos, you'll see all the 5 gallon buckets like stacked up. I made like a wall of 5 gallon buckets, and I had a lot of other supplies as well at that time. And so people would always, the different people that would come in, they would what's all with to the buckets, and we would say, well, we prep, and so we're ready for whatever could happen. And I had a really awesome lady. I knew her. She was a friend of mine. She was good people, and she said, well, I know where I'm going if something happens. And I had to tell her straight out, no, no, you're not. Unless you're involved in this, unless you're doing it, don't come here. So and again, those are hard conversations to have because then people's feelings get hurt and all that type of stuff. But I wasn't able to discreetly hide it, if you will. There was no way to hide it. We just didn't have, you know, and the basement obviously was the best place to keep all that stuff. So that's why we did it that way. But you just, like I said again, if I could have put in a false wall, they would have never known the difference. So, but again, plan everything out. Whatever you're doing, if you are plan, so let's go back to bugging in. You have decided you're bugging in. You're not bugging out. You're staying home. You're going to take your chances and stuff like that. Fine. You better have ways to board up your windows and have that in place now. 3/4 inch plywood that you can basically screw over windows so that people just can't randomly break into your house. Sliding glass doors. I talked about this before. When I lived in Greece, New York, we for the backyard we had a sliding glass door. So you open it up and you slid it out, and the dogs would go out into the backyard. That's an easy access point for somebody. We had a bay window, big old front bay window. Again, somebody throws a rock through there, now you got an access point and they're in your house. Now, obviously, you can discourage them strongly from coming in. But again, if they did it that way, then how hard is it to throw a Molotov cocktail in there after that? So, those are things to think about. Again, you want to make it as hard as possible. You want to make it as difficult as possible because you're trying to survive as long as you possibly can, in that situation. So if your game plan is to bug in, if you're in the city, and your game plan is to bug in, I wish you luck because you're really going to need it. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be critical. Uh, I think your chances of survival in a city trying to bug in is between slim and none. Suburbia, you got a better chance. It's still going to be a difficult situation because I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about it. The people that you have to watch out for the most is your family first, because anybody that knows that you prep, they're coming to you. And then if you don't help them, then they're going to be pissed. Then your neighbors. Those are your two biggest immediate threats. Now, what you decide to do with that is obviously up to you. Do you take some people in to help you out, or do you not? Those are the calls that you have to make. You got to decide, okay, I'll give a good example. You have enough food for 5 people for a year. You've been prepping for a while. You've worked hard at it. If you end up bringing in 5 more people, now you have enough food for 10 people for 6 months. So you see how quickly that can come down your preparedness. So you're going to have to make that call. Do I help these people or do I not help these people? What do they bring into the table? Do they know how to shoot? Do they know how to handle themselves? Are they going to just curl up in a ball in a corner and cry? You better know what you're dealing with. You better know who you're going to be willing to have join you or not. Because if they're eating your food, they better carry their weight, and those are things you need to think about. Okay, so that's just just giving you that out there. Now, if you're more rural, what? Come here. Don't let her get in your way. Children, I'm telling you right now. Um, but again, it's like, now if you're more rural, your chances of survival absolutely go up, because generally speaking, uh, people that are more rural are more prepared. Okay, you can come up. Come on. 'Cause she's learning now. I don't like her to climb up, so she's being better. Um, but if you're more rural, generally the people out in those areas are also prepped to a degree. Okay, so that's a good thing. That's a bonus. So then generally, like, I'm going to give you an example. So we heat with wood here. Our neighbors next door, they also heat with wood, but they do have a propane backup. So now she's going to come up. Hi, how are you? Yes, I know. Yes, you're a good girl. You're a good girl. So Um, so my neighbors next to me, they also have a wood stove, so they heat with wood. The neighbors next to them also have a wood stove that they use as a backup, and so those are things that you have to consider. All right, they're self-sufficient to that point. They may need some help with food if you want to do that. But what that also does is it gives you a buffer in between. So if you're working with your neighbor next door, and then they're working with you as well, it puts you in a better position. So if something goes down, you're going to be having somebody that hopefully is going to have your back. So those are things to think about as well. Like I said, again, I've had people say I'm not helping anybody, and again, that's going to be your choice. You're going to have that option to help or not help. You can do whatever you want. You're all adults. You have to make those decisions. But when you make those decisions, realize that you're going to have to live with those decisions, because if you turn your back to your neighbor, let's say, and say your neighbor was a good guy, but you turned your back to him, they may come back with their friends and say, yeah, we're taking what you got now. So, and again, that may happen anyway. But again, if you're a decent person, I think if you're surrounding yourself, hopefully, with other decent people, you're going to be in a better position. A lot of concern about, in a post event, your drug addicts, your drunks, your pill heads, all those type of things. Their life expectancy, realistically, not necessarily so much the drunks, but your heroin and your meth and your crack addicts and those type of people, their life expectancy is not going to be super long. They'll get weeded out pretty quickly. A lot of them will die of lead poisoning really quickly. So, you know, learn to live in a blackout environment under all quilt conditions. Yeah, and exactly. You don't want a good point, JJ. You don't want to draw attention to yourself. You don't want people to know that you have things, that you have light or whatever. So you're going to want to have an area that maybe you have all the curtains blacked out, so that no, and then go out and check and make sure you can't see through them. As far as that goes, so that survival of the fittest. Exactly, Angela. You're 100% right. But to me, it's really important, if you're giving yourself an advantage. Maybe there's a guy that's a big old tough guy, that is, all muscled up and in great shape and stuff like that. But if he has no skills, his chances of survival long term are not good. The more skills that you have learned, what you have between your ears, is going to make a huge, huge difference if you survive or not. Again, it's all that planning, preparing, being as ready as you possibly can be. And that's something to think about as well. There's a lot of crap going on, obviously, out there in the world right now. A lot of stuff to be concerned about, and we should be concerned about them. I mean, it may not affect us directly, but it's affecting us indirectly. Obviously, we've had a jump up in gas prices, and I know there's two states. I think Georgia is one of them, and Maryland is the other one that have suspended the gas tax for 30 days. Well, that helps for that 30 days, but what happens after that 30 days? You know what I mean? Malachi's Corner says, learn how to and where to do caches. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, get whatever information you can. You want something that's going to be watertight, that once you bury it, it's not going to make a difference it's not going to leak, and you're not going to pull out your cache and it's all going to be buried underwater. That would not be a whole lot of fun. A lot of marauders are looking for drugs will perish from lead poisoning. Mary Mills just said that. You're right. But once you get through that initial period of time, and when I say the initial period of time, let's go that first 4 months. Once you get past that first 4 months, and a lot of those folks will get weeded out, then you're going to have the tough people left. You're going to have the hardcore people that are surviving, and they may be surviving by going house to house and seeing what they can pillage and take, and it's not just your food and your supplies that they're going to take, folks. They're going to take your women too. They're going to want to. Why lead poisoning, Gregory? Because they're going to get shot. That's why. That's why lead poisoning. I thought that was kind of known, but that's okay. It's a good question. If you didn't know, now you know. That's they're going to get shot. That's how they're going to die. But again, the hardcore will be around after that. After a year, your chances to survival after a year, if you're still alive after a year, goes up exponentially. So again, if you put yourself in a right situation with the right group of people planning to survive long term, and it's not just necessarily about survival. I want you to think about this. I don't want to just survive whatever's coming. I want to thrive while I survive. So I want to still eat well. I still want to get my gardens in. I want to have my fruit trees. I want to have my blueberry bushes. I want to be able to, if I have access to it, be able to fish, to be able to get food that way. If we're able to trap, we'll do that as well. So, but you don't know. You don't know. So you better have the mindset of gatherer grower. That's the mindset you need to have in an S.H.T.F event, because it's going to be a very dangerous world. There's going to be a lot of dangerous people out there with a lot of bad intentions. So if you have a group and a location and you're doing what you need to do, if you're trying to keep a low profile, which I would highly recommend, no, you don't want to flaunt what you have. You don't want jealousy and pettiness by other people as well. And hopefully, if you are in a decent area and you have decent people, so that's a good thing. But if you don't, like I said, you're going to be in trouble. Your chances, if you put yourself in better and better situations and you put yourselves in better and better locations, your chances of survival go up, and that's a fact. That is a fact. So yeah, I see the mods took care of that bot. They got on that. So so somebody's complaining. Here's the thing, guys. Just use this as a rule of thumb. If you're in here making comments, just be respectful. That's all. That's all. And I know some of you are going to do or think you're going to do what you're going to do anyway, but that's not going to be the case. You know. Very good. Jesus Christ is my king, said Ed. Many forget about snipers too. Not even just snipers. Okay, so yeah, snipers will definitely be an issue as well. But what you also need to think about, let's say you're off in the woods and you're hunting, okay? What if there's people out there that have been watching and waiting for that opportunity to grab a member of your group? Those are possibilities as well. So you never do anything alone. You're definitely going to have to make sure you're buddying up or have two or three of you at a time if you're going out anywhere. If you're out even gathering firewood, kindling, you know, you're going to have the kids out there in the woods grabbing the kindling, right? Because it's something easy for them to handle. You better have people on guard watching to make sure that everybody's safe, that everybody comes back okay. Because that's, I'm telling you, it's like it can really get ugly really, really fast. So, you know, you're going to have a lot of hard decisions to make. You're going to have to really sit down. And this is what I would encourage you guys to do. Whatever you're planning on doing, bugging in, bugging out, if you have a group that you're going to, a bug out location, sit down, make a list. What's important, what's not important. If you're going to a bug out group, all right, this is, I'm going to give you some advice here. So you have a group of people, and like on at my place, if somebody wants to bring in a camper, or build a small, build a little cabin or whatever the case may be, I'm going to let them do that. Okay. So there's a minimum amount of supplies that you should have on site. I would encourage anybody, if you have that bug out location, make sure you have a lot well above the minimum amount of supplies on site, because it gives you, again, more of an advantage long term. So if, let's say, they say, okay, well, you have to, and I'm making this up. I'm not saying this is what I'm going to be doing at my place. I'm just making this up. Let's say if at this bug out location that you're going to, this group, and you have to keep a shotgun on site, and you have to keep 1,000 rounds of ammo on site, right? So you have your little cabin, and you got everything, and you have the group supply someplace, and then you have more supplies in your cabin. Great, it gives you better advantage. But if that's the minimum, I would encourage you to have more ammo, have more, things for weapons for protection and those type of things, uh, clothing, medicines, whatever you feel that you need. I would encourage you to sit down, write those things out. And then you could also do this. You could also present that before the group and say, listen, here's some ideas that I came up with. What do you think of this? And that's a cool thing about a group, is when you have not one person thinking about different things, and you have 10 to 15 people, everybody's going to have different ideas. Some of them you're going to go, yeah, well, we're not going to do that. But then other ones you're going to go, that's a really good idea. So those are things you need to think about as well. So again, it's all about planning, giving, again, it's about giving yourself what you're thinking about is yourself and your family, giving yourself the best chances of survival that you possibly can. I think that is really, really important. Uh, One of the things I think, like I said, again, making sure you have enough seeds on site so that you can grow for years to come to do what you need to do. Hygiene, hygiene supplies. If you have women, make sure you have those feminine hygiene products that they're going to need. Because once you're out of those feminine hygiene products, then you're going to be using cloth or whatever is available to use at that point. So again, make it as comfortable for you and your people as you possibly can. Um, just hygiene supplies, soap, shampoo, razors, all those type of things. The biggest thing that I think that what people don't understand when they think about prepping, okay, and I just want to kind of throw this out there so that you can kind of get it. You want to try to keep things as normal as possible. So how do you keep things as normal as possible in a chaotic, lunatic world? You want to make sure people are still getting proper rest. They're still getting those, if it's 2 meals a day instead of three, you're getting those meals every day. You're able to wash your clothes and keep your clothes clean. You're able to keep yourself clean by taking a shower at the end of the day, or just even washing up, some way to wash up. Uh, you know, I know that, like, with going out and working on projects, you get done at the end of the day and you're nasty. I had the one day, I'll give you, just when I was down here the last time. Uh, I had worked all day outside doing different things, and then I said, well, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna heat up some water, and then I'm going to just wash up that way. So I'm taking this washcloth and I'm washing myself off. That water was so freaking dirty. It was nasty. But it's like, I'm not going to say I'm a clean nut, but I shower every day. I make sure that I'm washing myself up every day, and I think that's important because cleanliness is a big part of it. Oh, somebody said animal traps. Exactly. Having different ways to trap, knowing how to do snares and all those all those things as well. So those are all things to think about. So anyway, guys, what do we got? 870 in the chat. We're at 384 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time. Also, again, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction we have, it pushes us up higher in the rankings. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. We just crossed 105,000 subscribers. We did that on Wednesday. So again, anybody that's new on the channel, welcome. Thank you for being here and being part of this. It's appreciated. Yes, it is egg count time. That's why I was doing this other part first. It is egg count time. So again, yesterday, and I did say it in the video yesterday, I don't know if everybody was watching, but we had 12 eggs yesterday, including one of the pullet eggs. So take into consideration that today was overcast, crappy, rainy weather, no sunshine today. What do you think the egg count was today? So I'll give you guys a minute. And hello, Heather.
Hello.
And Stella, thank you. I wanted that nail in my forearm.
You're welcome. Yeah, maybe.
I'll give you guys a minute to get your guesses up here.
Would you like Miss Molly?
In a moment. All right. If you had the same guess as Denise Starbuck, I think I said the name wrong. If I said it wrong, I apologize. 3 eggs today. We had 3 eggs, and no thick neck did not lay.
Lazy.
Starbaugh. That's it. Denise Starbaugh with the 3 eggs. She was the winner chicken dinner.
Surbaugh.
Surbaugh.
There's no T.
What? Okay. Well, excuse me. So, but yes. So only 3 eggs today. I figured it was going to be less today anyway because we had so many yesterday. But with the weather being the way it was today, I knew it was going to be a bad egg count day. So hopefully tomorrow will be better. But
Here, girl.
she's so pathetic looking. So hi, Heather.
Hello.
Do you have anything you want to say or share?
Well, someone said make some Native American jewelry. I am not going to make Native American jewelry because I believe Native Americans should be the ones profiting off of their art. But I will make my own jewelry because I'm Heather American jewelry, I guess. That's where I live.
Well, hey, and if you feel that way, that's good. You should definitely stand by your convictions.
Mm-hmm.
Gigi says, "How is Heather?"
Heather is good. Heather took a nap earlier and is feeling better now.
Well, that naps are always naps are gifts from God. That's why I look at it. Especially as you get older, naps are gifts from God. So,
But I wanted to come over and say hello before I go over to get some mind numbing from Love After Lockup.
oh boy,
Lockup.
was that start at 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
How exciting!
It was Molly and not Stella. I brought Stella in first, but she's still right here. There we go. Double feature for the kitties.
Yeah.
Although you can't quite see her on my shirt.
Yeah. It happens. So, power naps are the best. If I get a 20-minute power nap in, I'm good to go. And I know some people can't do that, but that always worked for me. Always worked for me. Look at that. Karen says Heather gets prettier with every video. Isn't that nice?
Thank you.
It's very
I
nice.
have to start popping in videos more if that's the case.
That's too funny. Someone asked about the solar light name you shared the other night. D light. I will show it again. I happen to have it right here. So this is what it looks like. And you can see right at the top, it's a D dot light. Great light to have. It's a solar light. So obviously that is the solar panel side. So if you take that outside, you can move that any way you want to. So you can catch the sun. And then the other side is the light. So now I'm going to turn that on. And there you are. I mean, it's freaking fantastic. It's a great light to have. Highly, highly recommend that you have that light. It's, again, one of the things that you should have in your preps. It's like I said again, if you're doing blackout situation, that would be what is going on with that?
She was typing like the same thing over and over again.
Oh, well, thank you, JJ, for deleting that. That's kind of silly. Wonder
And I
what.
do sewing actually. Fun fact is I sewed my dress myself for my senior ball.
Yep, she made her own dress, and people were asking at the ball, "Oh, where did you get that dress?" And then when she told them that she made it herself, they were like shocked. So, the person kept saying three. Okay, why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. She says, "I don't understand martial law fully." What
Oh, I'm
martial
gonna
law?
jump off there real quick.
Okay, baby. All right. If martial law is enacted, just so you know, the Constitution is suspended. So what does that mean? That means you have zero rights. They can detain you for as long as they want to with no due process. They can put in a curfew that you have to abide by or you will be arrested. There is no assembly, so you're not allowed during martial law to do protest. That was one of the things that just happened up in Canada. That's why he enacted what he did to break up the protest. So if you think that martial law comes and you're just going to do what you want to do anyway, you're going to be locked up pretty quickly. So yeah, you have no rights. You have no rights. So if that is ever enacted, be very very cautious. Who enforces it? That would be either the National Guard, the military, the police working in junction with them. So there's a lot that goes to it. Again, one of the biggest things and I know I've talked about this before. Yeah, paid enforcers, exactly. Don't give them that reason to enact martial law. If they can enact martial law, again, you're screwed. You are screwed. And then what they will do, and don't think that they don't have lists of possible agitators. Well, we'll put it like that. Okay, possible agitators. They will have a list of those type of people, and I think that they would come. And this is now I don't know if this would happen, but this is just my guess. They would come and they would round those people up because they think that they would be the ones that would cause trouble. Now, you as an individual at that point are going to have to make decisions on what you do. That's really really important. So, yeah. So you don't want to give them a reason to enact martial law because it would not be a good situation if that happens. Not good situation at all. But again, there's going to be people that are always going to buck that. They're always going to try to fight against it. And once you sit in a jail cell for long enough and have your rights taken away, and if they strip you down and humiliate you and treat you like crap, your attitude will change. I don't care how tough you think you are. So we are probably all on the list of possible agitators. I think preppers would be very high on that list because they think that we would try to cause trouble. When the reality is, we just want to be left alone. So, what's with all the naked talk tonight, Ed? Well, the one naked was I plan, for caches. The other naked is you don't think that they would strip you to try to humiliate you? Let's ask those people that got they got put in lockup down in Washington D.C. You don't think they strip searched them, had them bend over, spread their behind, and cough to make sure they weren't smuggling something in? You think that that's done just because they want to make sure there's no contraband getting into the jails? Part of that is to dehumanize you. So think about that. When you got your clothes on, you can feel like you're all tough and manly, and you're not. I'm not going to take crap. Yeah, well, once they take that, you take all those things away from you. You know, it's not a pleasant thing. Hey, Patricia, Ed, what will happen to the people who have mortgages when the grid goes down? That's a good question. Grid goes down. I wouldn't even worry about a mortgage payment at that point. There's going to be a way other thing, more important things to worry about. The banks are not going to be coming for your house at that point. If the grid is down and if it's down for an extended period of time, nobody's paying any bills. So there's not going to be no mortgage payments being paid, car payments, any of those type of situations. And again, depending on how long that grid down situation would be, uh, you know, it may not have no rent either. There would be no rent either. Uh, how are you going to get money? Number one, in a grid down situation, a realistic grid down situation, there's no way to get money. So to be able to pay anybody, and that person's probably hiding out anyway. Your landlord. He's not going to come around and say, "Oh, well, you haven't paid your rent. Now you got to go." That's not how it's going to work. But thank you for that question, and thank you very much for the donation as well. Yeah, no more credit card debt either. There you go, Gregory. Good point. Grid down situation, a true grid down situation where there is no power grid, it changes everything. Nursing home situation, bad, very bad, Peggy Sue. Nursing home situations, my best guess, unless you go and you get your loved one out of that nursing home, they would all be dead within a very, very short period of time because there's not going to be anybody there to take care of them. With no supplies coming in, with no staff to take care of those people, they'll die in their beds. There's no way to stay warm. Again, they would not. It would be a very short time, and you might find one or two dedicated people that will stay with their patients, but for the most part, yeah, people will be abandoned. They absolutely will be abandoned. People are going to look to take care of their families first, as they should, as they should. So, you look at it. Look at what was it? Was it Hurricane Katrina? That one nursing home. I think two people of the entire building stayed. Two people stayed. Everybody else took off, and you can't blame them. You can't blame them. I mean, it's you have your families that you have to worry about. So they're just something to think about. So yeah, any of those group homes that have the mentally retarded folks in there, those places again, there'll be a slaughterhouse, unfortunately. Hey, Pam in Wonderland, did you know there is a map with potential nuclear hotspots in the whole USA? Look it up. It's great for planning. Yeah, and that's another thing, that you can plan ahead for. And thank you very much for that information, and thank you for the donation as well. Um, those are things you have to take into consideration as well. What nuclear power plants are near you? How far, which way the prevailing winds go? What are your chances of survival? Would you get radiation from that? All these things need to be taken into consideration, especially when you're planning on where you're going, you know. So those are all of it comes together, and for a reason. And again, with proper planning, you're going to be in much, much better shape. So being as prepared as you can be is the best way to go. Having contingency plans is also a good way to go. So let me ask you this, guys. And so here's the scenario: SHTF happens. SHTF happens. And next thing you know, you have, let's say we're 1 month, 2 months into a worst case scenario nightmare. Law enforcement shows up or the military shows up. Either one of them shows up at your property and says, "Hey, listen, we need to confiscate supplies and blah blah blah." What are you going to do? You're going to give them to them, or are you going to shoot them? So you've got to think about those things. Do you even let them get close to your property? Those are things you need to think about because number one, are they really law enforcement? Are they really military? Or is it somebody that has confiscated uniforms and have decided that they're going to try to get easy pickings or easy access into somebody's place? Because we have that ingrained respect for authority that's been ingrained into us since we were kids. Not so much anymore, you know what I mean? But, you have to plan for every contingency. When you have your group or your family and SHTF has happened, you need to sit down, decide, okay, if this happens, we're doing this. This is what we're going to do. You know, I'd lie and say I don't have anything. Well, what if they want to search? You know what I mean? You don't even let them get to that point. You don't let them get close. That's the point I'm making. Um, you don't just you don't even want to let them have that conversation. They're over there, and you fire off a couple warning shots and say that's far enough. Uh, you know, don't even come any closer. And if they say, well, we're this or that or the, I don't care who you are, you're not coming in here. And they either go away, or if they want to have trouble, then they get trouble. The bigger your group, the more protection you're going to have. Safety in numbers, safety in numbers, safety in numbers. Uh, you know, in making sure you have planned to take care of those people for a long period of time is also a big part of it. So just something to think about. Just something to think about. But easy answer is one needs a lot of people to survive. If you want to survive long term, yes, yes. Different skill sets. You know, and it's not just about, again, it's not just about surviving. It is about thriving. That's what you want to think about. You want to have books for knowledge. You want to have games to, that people can play chess, checkers, cards, whatever the case may be during downtime. You know, getting proper rest, having proper meals, some form of normalcy. Maybe everybody don't get a shower every day, but at least you could wash up. You know what I mean? You get the wash basins and you could wash up. Those are things to think about too. You know, but you just and some people don't like to shower every day, but those are things to think about. You're going to see small towns circle in, and they're going to close off the borders of those small towns, and they're not letting people in there. Those things will happen as well. So you will have little fortresses all over the place. So again, things to think about. Well, we're at that time now. What do we got? 824 in the chat. We're 497 on the thumbs up. Again, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel. And I thank you ahead of time for that. I do appreciate it. Again, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction, again, comments, thumbs up, thumbs down. If you hate me, throw the thumbs down. Doesn't matter. Doesn't even show up anymore. So do that. It really does help with the algorithms. So thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Yeah, American Blackout was a great movie. Really good example. At the end, if you guys remember that movie, at the end of the American Blackout, they're fighting in a store over a couple of cans of beans or whatever the case may be, and then the lights come on, and I think the one guy had just killed the other guy. So that's reality. That's reality. All right, let's do shout outs. Let's do some shout outs here while we're thinking about it and get that part of it done. I want to try to sort of stay on pace. Visit Jizza should have a new Carrington Chronicle out this weekend. He normally does that, so definitely check him out. Show him some support. 80K Man is also, I think he's in the chat as well tonight. I think I saw him earlier, and but he's also a good guy. A lot of good information. Again, he does a lot of stuff with the Adirondacks, so check that out as well. Uh, Also, you have Angry Prepper down in New York City. Jason is an awesome dude, really, really down to earth, and so another good guy. You have Canadian Prepper up in Canada. You also have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance. Really good information with his channel. You have Alaskan Prepper, who's just an outstanding human being. I think he's just awesome. Definitely let's support him as well. Alaskan Granny, you have Kyle's Cabin up in Minnesota. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. You have Marfugal News out on the West Coast in Seattle with Adam and Dax. A lot of good information with them. Hey, Asif, I came into the chat 9 minutes ago. Love my mods. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that, and glad that you could join us. And thank you very much for the donation as well. You have Bushcraft Bear, who is in La Palma in the Canary Islands. Really, another just a down to earth guy. Bear Independent. You have Southern Prepper One. You have Pinball Preparedness. You have Green Greg's. There is Bjorn Hansen. There is Corporal's Corner. You have the Green Dream Project out in Arizona. Also, you have Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods, husband and wife, two different channels, really good people as well. Doug and Stacy is another good channel. Deep South Homestead, another really good channel. There is a lot of great information out there. Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. You have Adapt 2030. You have Suspicious Observer. You also have the Nomadic Movement in Panama. Nice young couple out there. And so Ice Age Farmer. You have I already did Suspicious Observer. Ryan Hall, y'all. Got how could I forget Ryan Hall, y'all? He's awesome as well. But again, there's a lot of great channels out there. There's a lot of good information. You know, there is Wrangle Star is a great channel. You have Boss of the Swamp. I like Boss of the Swamp as well. I've followed him for quite a while. A lot of good, like I said, any information that you can pick up that is going to help you, I think is a good thing. Mary Greeley News is another really. She got a lot of stuff about Yellowstone. I like her as well. I think I said Ice Age Farmer already, so another one. But like I said, there's a lot of great channels out there. There's a lot of good information. I think we should be supporting each other, and I think that's important that we do that. So, all right, so that's it for shout outs for tonight, guys. If I forgot somebody, I do apologize. It happens. At some point I'll make a list and I'll just like read off my list. But yeah, there's a lot of good information. I think we should again be sharing, supporting each other. The prepping community is a small community, but there's a lot of us, and we're all over the place. So I think that that's cool as well. So a lot of great information out there, and so like I said, I think it's important to give shout outs to try to support other folks. All right, so getting back to what we were talking about, there is again to recap, if you will, the larger your group, the better your chances of survival. But also with a larger group, you have a tendency that you could have infighting. There could be those type of things that happen as well. You could have people at odds with each other, the leadership who wants to be in charge, and who all those type of things. So if you can get those type of things sorted out before you get into the situation, and it's going to make things better. It really is. So you're going to have to make a decision. Are you willing to you know sacrifice and be part of a group for the safety of yourself and your family, or do you feel like you want to be in charge and go solo and and then possibly not make it? Again, those are all things that you have to take into consideration. So but again, I am doing a prepper group in West Virginia. Again, if people are interested, email me, shoot me your phone number. I will give you a call. Like I said, we're going to be doing that the 8th, 9th, and 10th of April. So, if you want to come down there and hang out, and, I'm going to be interviewing people, is what I'm going to be doing. I'm asking people to have questions for me. I'm going to have questions for them. And we're going to go from there. And I'm going to try to put together a good group of people down there with like mindedness, the same mindset that plan on surviving and thriving in in that event. So if I have talked to you in the past, call me again or shoot me another email and say, hey Ed, it's so and so. We had a conversation. I want to come down there. Again, please do that, because it's like I talk to a lot of people every day. So but so it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be cool. Hopefully we can put together a good group of people that plan on thriving, because that's what we're going to do. No matter what, we're going to thrive. So that's the only option in my opinion. That's the only option, is to thrive, to make it, to get there, do what we got to do. We're going to get down there. And you got to understand something, just so you guys know, anybody that's going to be part of my group down there, everything I got is going to go into down there. So I'm giving 110%. All my preps are going to be there with me. My family's going to be there with me. And, as we continue on, with what we're doing, it's going to be just to continue to make that place a better place when the time comes. So, but no, I'm hoping that the grid don't go down. I'll be honest with you. I hope that we can. I hope years from now we're still on here and we're talking and we can say, and then you can say, well, Ed, 5 years ago you said that, we need to get ready and we need to be prepared. And I'll probably still say that 5 years from now if nothing happens. But everything that you do to make your life better and make your life easier and make you less dependent on the system, that's a bonus. That's the way I look at it. So if I can put myself in a situation where I don't have that gas and electric bill all the time, where I don't have a water bill, where I don't have to worry about, how am I making it week to week and month to month as far as food prices continue to skyrocket, all those things, economic collapse will happen before a grid down. We don't know that, JJ. It's a possibility. It is a possibility, but we just don't know. We just don't know. So just be, like I said, just be as prepared as you possibly can be. Give yourselves every advantage that you can to increase your chances of survival. Preppers aren't going to make it either, folks. There'll be preppers that think that they're ready. They think that they're ready to go. Um, you know, and there's just they're not going to make it because they didn't plan properly. They didn't think ahead. They didn't do all those things. But if you're trying to, and here's the biggest thing, the definition to me of a good leader is somebody who also listens, that takes advice, that will take information in based on what other people's thoughts are. uh, you know Have you checked on the buildings yet? I actually, when I go back down there, I can't find the information what I did. I'm going back to that place when I go back down there, and I'm going to look into it at that point. So that's what I'm going to do as far as the buildings go. But we will get, we will get that squared away. So anyway, Ed, order your wood stoves ASAP. Long wait on orders now. I already have two wood stoves. I have one down there already, and I have another one here that will go with us as well. So I already have two wood stoves to start with. So we'll figure all that out. So anyway, let's do this at this point. Again, I'm going to ask for another thumbs up if you haven't done so yet. We're at 591. Let's shoot for 700. Let's shoot for 700 thumbs up. We got about 8 minutes to go, guys. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. And again, I do appreciate that. Also, it really does, again, help with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you have not been subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So I thank you for that reason as well. Silver Surfer Ed, I'm still waiting for my first call. When did you shoot me an email? I got a few emails that I got to catch up on, but if you sent an email a long time ago and I haven't shot you an email back, resend it, please. Okay? So, JJ, we got somebody's got to go, but thank you very much. It amazes me that they can come on here and do that. Okay, so we are Legion. We are many. We're all over the world. We're all over the country. Where is everybody from tonight? Where is everybody from? And again, let's keep those thumbs up going. Let's see if we can hit 700. Hey, there's Philip. Good day, Philip. From Melbourne, Australia. We have Tucson, Arizona in the house, BC, Canada, Maryland, Beech Grove, Indiana, Waterloo, New York, Nowhere, Oklahoma, somewhere in the Adirondacks. Birdsboro, Pennsylvania. We have Kentucky. Newfoundland is in the house. We have Hillsboro, Oregon. Georgia, BC, Canada once again. Ontario, Canada. Idaho's in the house. Washington State. New Hampshire, Colorado. Inverness, Florida. Washington, D.C. Southeast Michigan. South Dakota. North Central Texas. Rhode Island. Hoosier State. We have Maine, Pittsburgh, Mississippi, Missouri, Atlanta, Georgia, upstate South Carolina. We have Georgetown, Louisiana, Mississippi, Pennsylvania Wilds, Bakersfield, California, Northern Georgia, Oregon, Huntington, West Virginia, Delaware, Western North Carolina, Mississippi, Fort Worth, Texas, Orlando, Florida, Hoosier State, which is Indiana, Michigan. We have New York, Georgia, North Highlands of California, Safford, Arizona, West Tennessee, Ulster Park, New York, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Fairborn, Ohio, Campbell, Missouri, Northeast Michigan, Warren County, Indiana, Massachusetts, uh, Devil's Lake, North Dakota, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, the UP. We have Georgia, Maine, Massachusetts again, uh, Mountain and Pines in Arizona, New Mexico's in the house. So again, guys, we are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of folks. We're all over the place. We're huge families, what we are. We are the ones that are awake. We have Las Vegas, Nevada's in the house, New Mexico. We're the ones that are awake. We're the ones that can make a difference. We can make a difference now, and we can also make a difference afterwards. Cape Cod in Massachusetts, very nice. So, but again, um, being prepared, being awake, I do think it's a responsibility. And you may not think so, and that's fine. We have South Australia's in the house, very nice. So again, Alabama, Roll Tide. Ooh, and just for you Alabama fans out there, and I'm like chomping at the bit. We have a third visit coming up for the young man there, for the next Manning to visit Alabama that they did not know about. He's going there not this weekend, but next weekend. So I am hoping he goes to Alabama. Could you imagine a Manning in Alabama? Whew, that'd be amazing. So anyway, I just think that he would just be awesome there. I think he would do great. So, but anyhow, guys, so that is that. So that's it for that for now. Again, let's just keep prepping, keep getting ready, control what you can control. 80K man, good point. Failure to prepare is preparing to fail, and that is a true statement, very very true statement. So anyway, what are we at? 640 on the thumbs up. We need 60 more thumbs up here, guys. I don't know if we're gonna make it tonight, but if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, let's see if we can get 60 more thumbs up before we jump off of here to hit 700 thumbs up. So anyway, guys, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely awesome job keeping the chat clean. You guys are the best. I do appreciate you. Appreciate your dedication to being here, stream after stream after stream, um, and so that is very much appreciated. Also, I want to thank all of you guys for being here, supporting the channel, and being here for the streams. It's a lot of fun. I have a good time just to just keep doing, keep coming. Hopefully you learn something. I hope that's the idea, sharing. There's a lot of great comments in the chat as well, and I think that that always helps with people as well. So I think that that's a good thing. um, anyway, I want to remind everybody that we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we can figure that out, we're going to be in much, much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. Oh, that's a fantastic shirt. Isn't that cool? I'll show you that there. I love this shirt. I think it's very, very cool. And I think it's got on the sleeve here too. So, but I don't even know what that says. OTW. I have no idea what that means. I just saw some. I think somebody sent me this shirt, and I just was like, I think this is like the coolest shirt. Well, I kind of have that tattoo here, sort of, but I would get that tattooed on me. I think that would be neat. But anyhow, um, again, we have to stop letting them divide us. They use race, religion, political affiliation, the vax, the unvax. All those are tools. Oh, Indian motorcycle. Okay, yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe, but we have to stop letting them divide us. It is a tool that is used to keep us fighting amongst each other and not focusing on what the real problems are, which is always going to be big business and the government. Those are the real problems. So we're at 661, guys. We need 39 more thumbs up to hit that 700 thumbs up. Let's do that. Let's get that up there if you haven't done so yet, please. And thank you ahead of time. Also, remember, guys, to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day how you feel because tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know. Uh, Oh, off the wall. Okay. Well, thank you. I didn't know what it meant. So there you go. Off the wall. I like that. But again, tell the people that you care about every single day how you feel. That's really really important. So also remember, guys, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that can stop you from reaching your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right? Uh, Set realistic goals and then set about to making them happen. So we're at 685. We need 15 more thumbs up, guys. 15 more thumbs up. Let's see if we can hit that. We got to hit 700 now. We're that close. So biggest thing too. Somebody says practice kindness. I think I'll take it one further than that. Treat people the way you want to be treated. If you do that in your life, you're going to get a lot further ahead. That's my take on it. I think karma plays a big factor in it. It really does. If you do evil acts to people, it will come back and bite you in the butt every time, every single time. But if you treat people with decency, respect, treat people like you would want to be treated, you're going to go a lot farther and you get a lot more back. You really do. And if you come across that person that is just a complete tool all the time, just dismiss them from your life. Don't have nothing to do with them. Don't waste your energy or your time. Hating somebody for whatever reason does nothing good to you, it only hurts you. And that's something you need to think about. So we're four away, guys. We're at 696. We need four more thumbs up. We got to get four more thumbs up. We got to break 700. Now we're down to three. Three more thumbs up, guys. Oh, there we go. We got it. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it tonight. We had a long way to go there, but you guys are awesome. So we're at 703 now. But anyway, guys, listen. Be safe. Keep prepping. Keep getting ready. Take care of, again, control what you can control. A lot of things we are not in our control, but what is in our control is what we do to help ourselves, help our families, help our groups. Those are things we can control. So I will see you all later. I hope everybody has a great day. Be safe. Have a fun weekend. I will see you all tomorrow. Prepper Nurse One out for now. And now we're at 712, so like blew right through it.